All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So, this morning, I'm speaking on meditation and answering the question, why meditate? So, I'd like to begin with a little humorous story. So, two men are walking down the street and they meet each other on the street, and one says to the other, "How are you? How are you, my friend?" And the other one replies, "I'm fine, thanks. And how's your son? Is he still unemployed?" Yeah, he's still unemployed, but he's meditating now." "Ah, meditating? What is that?" "Honestly, I don't know, but it's better than sitting around doing nothing." Meditating is something more than sitting around doing nothing. But you could say that if we sit and do nothing completely consciously, then we're actually in a very beneficial meditative state. I remember some insight that came years ago when I was in a deep meditation. The words came, "Know no thing, so I am come. Know no thing, so I am come. Think no thing, so I am come." And the message was know nothing and think nothing and do nothing and let the mind settle into stillness, into that I am, to the I am. In the I am, just I am, before there's I am this or I am that or I am happy or I am tired or I am sad, before there's any thoughts or any ideas or opinions, we can rest into that no thingness. We're not focused on anything, but instead, we're in an undivided state. We're in a state of being, doing nothing. We're not in a state of doing. And that state of just being is oneness. There's a wonderful Rumi poem, I'll share the Rumi today, that describes this state of resting in no thingness or in nothingness. Rumi wrote, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense." So ultimately, meditation can take us into that field. It can take us to that field where the other dissolves into just being as one. There is the undivided state beyond you and me, beyond each other. So, using a metaphor, we can think of meditation as a climb up a mountain. Say you want to climb Mount Shasta, and maybe you've seen a snapshot of the summit. But standing at the base of it, like standing right here in this little town of Mount Shasta, it's hard to even imagine what the summit might be like, right? It's hard to imagine that view, that amazing view from the top, from that highest point, way up high. The only way to experience it is to climb it, and to climb it one step at a time. And there's quite a few paths that go up that mountain. So in the same way, there's quite a few kinds of meditation, and it's really fun to explore them and see what works for us. As I've been writing this talk this week, I'm in the middle of taking a refresher meditation class with Unity, one of the SCE classes. And I've been really enjoying it. I've been revisiting some forms of meditation I haven't done in a long time. There's actually some that I've never done. And it's really enriching. It's really enriching to just be open to what might come in, a real variation in meditation. Because I started meditating, I think I was 15 years old. And over all these years, I've taught meditation and meditation retreats and workshops for probably 30 years. But even so, taking this course reminds me of certain aspects of meditation I haven't thought about in a while. And the class uses a great book I really recommend called Meditation for Dummies. I'm not super crazy about the title, but it's a really wonderful, comprehensive book on meditation if you've never read it. It's by Stephan Bodian. And so I want to share some really great points he makes. And whether you just want a little more peace in your life, maybe you just want a little less anxiety, maybe you just want to sleep a little better, maybe you want to learn how to let go of things more quickly, maybe you want more better communication in your relationship, or maybe you want the summit, maybe you are seeking God consciousness. Whatever your motivation, there are benefits from a meditation, a regular meditation practice. So Stefan in his book shares a short list of the benefits, and I'd like to share some of them. Stronger focus and concentration, reduced tension and anxiety and stress, lower blood pressure, support in overcoming addictions, understanding and self-acceptance, more joy, more love and spontaneity, enhanced feelings of happiness and contentment, a deeper sense of meaning and purpose, and glimpses of the spiritual dimension of being. So that's a whole lot of good reasons right there to start meditating or to renew your practice. I know for me, even though I've meditated since I was 15, I go through phases where I meditate less. And then when I do a retreat or something and I get back into it, I realize just how much it enriches my life. And also maybe trying a new technique just to make it fresh again. So we all have different reasons to choose to meditate, but the beauty is that it has benefits for everyone, regardless whether your motivation is just better health or more peace or enlightenment and union with the divine. Um, our board member Charlie likes to sign off his emails, "Thou art God." And I love that he writes that. I've never had anyone write me emails and sign off, "Thou art God." And I love it so much because it's really the deepest truth for us all. Thou art God. Thou art that I am. And we can know that so fully. It can be so real for us. Not a concept, but a real experience each moment. And in that experience, the personal, separate self dissolves into the I am, into God being. And that is the greatest gift of meditation. That's the greatest of possibilities. You know, not everybody's looking for union with God, but I ultimately believe it's what our spiritual journey is all about. And it is what Jesus spent every breath of his ministry pointing to. You know, Master Jesus set example after example of going away to be quiet, you know, being able to experience that communion. I love that word, come union. Union comes when we get still. Union comes when we enter the quietude. The kingdom of God is within. That blissful stillness is within. So the ultimate fruit of meditation is our ego dissolving into oneness, into and merging with the Father, Mother, Source of everything. And in that state, we know thou art God, thou art that, right? I am that. So this mountain metaphor is actually an inner journey. You know, it's more a journey within to the depth of our being, to discover there is so much beauty in us. There is such infinite consciousness and such capacity for love. And it's so strange in this world how so much energy is spent looking for something outside of ourselves, where if we could just turn within more, we would find something more fulfilling than anything on the outside. It reminds me of a story that I heard Gangaji tell. I think I might have told this a few years ago about a master thief. This master thief was waiting his whole life, right, to acquire the most beautiful diamond in the entire world, right? And he heard that finally the diamond was sold, right? And so he spent 3 days trying to steal this rarest of jewels. But he failed. And finally, the thief walked right up to the new owner and he asked him, "How in the world did you hide this precious jewel from me?" And the owner, with a wise twinkle in his eye, replied, "Well, I put it in a place where I knew you would never look." in your own pocket. It's like we have this diamond in our pocket, right? We have this rarest of jewels right in our own pocket, right in our own being, at the very core of our being. But there's this, for many of us, for many folks in the world, there's like this gray, dusty cloth that's covering the diamond light, and the cloth is thoughts. The cloth is made out of thoughts that are thoughts of doubt or insecurity or resentment or jealousy or feeling separate, comparing, competing, coming up short in our own mind. And so to know God mind, we have to graduate from the lower vibrational thoughts to a higher consciousness. Um, the National Science Foundation says that the average person has 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. It's mind boggling that we have 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and that 80% of those thoughts that we have are negative thoughts, and 95% are repetitive thoughts, repetitive thoughts. And so that is a great reason right there to start or to renew or to deepen a meditation practice, because the meditation practice allows us to start to watch the mind, awareness of the mind and the habits of the mind. And when you start to watch the mind and you get good at watching it, it's like you're just watching this crazy inner roommate, as Mickey Singer says. That crazy voice in your head, that inner roommate. So as we become more aware of that through meditation, we can evict that inner roommate. Or better yet, we can teach it to meditate. We can teach it to be still. Be still. So I want to share some of my favorite meditations. In Stefan's book, he gives, at the end, he gives 10 of his favorite meditations. And so I want to just share a handful of those. They're simple, they're tried and true practices. And I just invite you to consider exploring a new practice, maybe one of these that you haven't explored. So, to begin with, let's just look at the most basic meditation, and that is what we just did, and that is bringing your attention to your breath and following your breath. The reason we do this is because it develops concentration. If we can just gently keep our attention on our breathing. And we can do this more easily if we place our hand on our belly and you notice the belly expanding, the diaphragm expanding out and going back down. Or I like to just feel the air at the base of my nose. If it's possible, you want to just breathe in and out of your nose. So it's cool air when you breathe in, and you notice it's warmer when you breathe out. And so just focusing on the breath, we can do this 10 or 15 minutes a day. It makes all the difference. And you want to just find your natural rhythm. You don't want to force your breathing. So try it now. We just did it, but let's do just one more minute of allow your attention to focus on the sensation of your breath coming in and out of your nostrils as you breathe. And just give your full attention to the coming and going of your breath. Now in my retreats, I have people count. Sometimes if you've never meditated or you've convinced yourself you're not good at meditation, I have people just count. So you breathe in, you exhale, 1. You breathe in, you exhale, 2. And you just count to 10. If you can do that, you're already meditating. You're already focusing your mind. It's a simple way to grow our ability to gain concentration, to be able to stay focused. Concentration is kind of the first thing you gain in meditation. Concentration I think of as like the hallway that leads to the room of silence, the blissful stillness, the place of merging with God. We concentrate the mind, and then we let go deeper, and we drop. We drop into a deeper stillness. Now, another simple meditation is repeating a mantra or repeating a meaningful word or phrase. Om Namashivaya. Om Namashivaya is one of the most beloved mantras in Hinduism. Om Mani Padme Hum is a beautiful mantra beloved in Buddhism. In unity, we could choose I am love. I am love as a mantra. I just gave you the simplest peace release. Sometimes we just, whatever works for you, you choose words that work for you. Alma taught me many years ago to connect the breath to the mantra. So breathing in Ma and breathing out Om. Ma stands for divine love. So when I meditate, I breathe in and I silently say Ma. And as I breathe out, I silently say Om. Ma Om. So it's a very simple meditation practice, but it helps when we add a mantra to our breath, because the mantra tends to take us more into the heart and open our mind, whereas the breath keeps us present. There's a type of meditation developed by the Catholic priest Father Thomas Keating called centering prayer. And it's funny to me, I kind of think that he developed this so that Catholics could be comfortable with meditation, because there's a strange thing. I think they feel a little bit like meditation is not a Christian thing. It has to be prayer. So he calls it centering prayer, but it's actually meditation. And it's just as simple as choosing a mantra, choosing a word of contemplation. It could be the word peace. And you choose the sacred word. And as Thomas puts it, he says, it's a symbol of your intention to consent to God's presence and action within. So you sit comfortably and you silently introduce the sacred word. And when your attention wanders, you just simply bring it back to that one sacred word. And you keep using the same sacred word during your meditation. Very, very, very simple. Another meditation is practicing mindfulness, and that's just we notice what is. We just are aware of anything we're aware of, and we don't attach our mind to it. We just notice it and let it go. Notice it and let it go. And we can do this meditation by saying, I am aware of. I am aware of. Like right now, I am aware that I'm speaking to this computer screen. I am aware of the sound of my voice. I am aware I'm in this little tiny home. I am aware. And that lets us, just be awareness without attaching to anything in particular. When I was in Maui a couple weeks ago, I was staying in this lovely home up on the hills, and there was an ocean view, and I've stayed there before. It's a beautiful place, my girlfriend's. And it's normally this incredibly quiet temple, right? And it's very much a temple. It's a very holy space there. But on this retreat, I noticed they're building a house right next door. And this one morning I sat up in bed and I was just going to meditate before I even got out of bed, and the window was open and there was just this amazing chorus of tropical birds singing. They are so loud in Maui and wonderful, and they seem like they're really happy. So I was just aware of that. I was aware of that, and I was listening to that, and then all of a sudden there was the builders started, and it sounded like they were like grinding rock, like volcanic rock. They were grinding it into smaller bits and dumping it into the yard. And it was extremely loud and uncomfortable to even hear. So, I thought I'm aware of extremely loud grinding rock sounds, and I'm aware of beautiful singing birds. And so I decided to shift my meditation from just noticing, from just the mindfulness meditation, to concentration on a particular choice of focus. And my focus was on those singing birds. And I was able to just keep my attention on those birds and actually have a really great meditation. The untrained mind, if I had maybe just started meditation, the untrained mind would instead probably focus on the grinding rock sound and just feel this tremendous resistance build up inside. Like, well, I came, start telling a story. I came to Maui for peace and, for, personal retreat, and I'm listening to these grinding rocks. And, the mind would tell that story. but I know enough and I've practiced enough. It's about practice to be able to just attach my mind to the singing birds and stay there, stay with that. Reminds me of a time I had a root canal and I thought I was going to have my first panic attack having this root canal. But they were playing music and it was like all these songs I used to sing, songs from the 80s. And I attached my mind to the music. I attached my mind to every note of every song for that hour and a half in that chair. And I was able to stay in that chair, finish the root canal, and not have a panic attack. So there's a lot of levels where we can use this ability that we develop to concentrate, to focus, and to stay focused. Another meditation that I love to do in my retreats is cultivating loving kindness and compassion and forgiveness and the other healing emotions. And this is especially good for heart opening and for clearing blockages that keep us from feeling peace. So let me guide you in this one just for like 2 minutes. Just take a gentle breath in, breathe in. And then just let your heart be soft, be aware of your heart, and then just bring to mind a time that you felt loved. You know, maybe it was this morning greeting your pet, maybe your dog's face and love and wagging tail, just so happy to see you. But just bring, or maybe it was a hug you finally got to have, but just take a moment, find a moment recently that you felt loved. And just allow the feeling of that to suffuse your whole being. And then just silently say to yourself, may I be happy. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. Just feel that love. Let it just be like a warm wave of peace that comes in. And then take a moment to imagine extending that loving kindness to a loved one, to someone really dear to you. Send them out this intention for their happiness and peace. May they be happy. May they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. And then we can send that out. It's like a ripple, stone you drop in a pond, this ripple of goodwill. We send it out. Let's send it out to Israel and Palestine. Let's send it out there. Let everyone there be safe. Let everyone there feel peace in this moment. Let them be free from suffering. Let them find a way to heal, become free of conflict. Send them this peace. See them feeling peace. Feeling peace. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. And so now notice what you're aware of. Do you feel any different? How is your heart feeling? Just notice I am aware of. I'm aware of my heart feels different. I'm aware of my shoulder contracts a little when I think of that. I can relax my shoulder. Another meditation, so coming back from that, another meditation practice is to visualize a peaceful place, a beautiful place, a place you love. It might be a place you've been, or it might be a place that you imagine. I told you all a story a few weeks ago of how I took my retreat to Cliff Lake. Cliff Lake is where it's my favorite place on the planet. It's where I want my ashes eventually. But I told you about how I brought everybody there and we all blew up rafts and we all floated on rafts in silence. And we just surrendered. We let the lake and the wind just take us. And we just all felt such a deep surrender. So this is the place I go to. If I'm going to visualize a place that I want to go in my mind that brings me peace. And as we go there in our mind, our body doesn't know the difference. You know, it's just like if you watch a violent movie, your body doesn't know the difference, right? Your body is having that experience like you're there. Well, same thing if we imagine a place we love, this beautiful mountain lake, or maybe it's the ocean, or maybe it's the forest, and you're just sitting there, or you're floating there. And you can just go there and notice the smells and all the details, the feeling of being there. And if we train our mind to go regularly to a peaceful place, our body responds as if we're there. So, another powerful meditation practice is to gaze at a picture of a holy being, like, like Jesus, or a saint, like Jesus or Buddha or Amma. I have pictures of all three right here in my house. And I do spend time sometimes meditating on that picture and merging with that presence and feeling that that holy being, that divine being, is right here with me. And I can receive that guidance from Jesus. I can receive that guidance from Amma or from the Buddha. So we need to remember there are all sorts of ways we can meditate and receive incredible support. Another thing we can do is we can concentrate on a shape or a form, like a candle. I used to meditate focusing on a candle, and it's a wonderful meditation for focusing the mind. I have a Tibetan bowl I like to ring. And I ring the bowl, and I let my mind follow the sound all the way into the silence. And it takes my mind out of thinking. It's a simple, wonderful meditation. One of the last things I want to mention is eating meditation. And I've talked about this before. But in my retreats, sometimes I have people take a strawberry. We hand out strawberries and we hold it and we just behold the amazing form a strawberry is, looking at the seeds and the shape and the color, and we smell it and we feel it on our lips. We take a bite and we just feel the texture and the juice and the flavor, and we just fully experience that bite, and we chew it for as long as it lasts. And we're so totally present with just eating. And when we do this, I then send the group out to eat their whole lunch in silence. And it can be life-changing for people, especially people that anxiety eat, or they emotionally eat. They eat, when their emotions are um, challenging. So this kind of mindful eating can really overcome emotional eating. It's really a powerful meditation. Last thing I want to mention is walking meditation, which is my favorite, which I do every day. We can walk and we can align our breath with our steps. Thich Nhat Hanh taught me that, where you walk maybe 5 steps. You just notice whatever's comfortable. Maybe as you breathe in, you take 5 steps, and then you breathe out for 4 steps. That's what's comfortable for you. So you align your breath and your steps, and you're just aware of that. And then you also become aware of your senses, the trees and the breeze and the sunlight sparkling on the water. And lately it's been the smell of these blooming bushes, the temperature of the air, and that, like Khadija was saying, the feeling of the air in the last few days has been so like we're at the ocean. It's so moist. So just being present with walking in this way is so healing. It brings so much natural, effortless happiness. So in closing, I hope this review of the many wonderful reasons to meditate inspires you to either start meditating, or maybe revisit your practice, or perhaps expand your practice and try something new. We don't need to limit our meditation to just the one thing we do. We can actually live in mindfulness every moment of the day. That's the state of Buddhahood. That's the state of Christ consciousness. But meditation is power. It makes us so much more able to let things go, and just let things pass through us. Maybe they get stuck. Maybe we feel some anger or some hurt, but we let it go. We get really good at realizing we don't want anything stuck in us. We want to be wide open. It helps us with concentration, the ability to play the piano and not be distracted in concert when I've got, a little kid coming up by the piano playing the high keys or dancing. There's so much power in the power of concentration and focus, and being able to keep our focus, whether we're painting or writing a book, or we're wanting to experience a better relationship and better relations in our relationships. So it's healing in so many ways. So my prayer is that you will meditate and you will benefit from it and discover and radiate this beautiful light, this beautiful diamond light that we all have closer than our own pockets. May we shine that radiant light of being. So be it. Thank you all. God bless.